So here we are, 2011 Triumph Bonneville T100. It's like 900cc parallel twin. It's got like a 270 degree crank, meaning that, you know, every 3/4 of a turn it fires. Hello, BMW. Which is really Ducati-esque, like on idle. Even though it's a parallel twin, it just has that firing order that's very reminiscent of a Ducati. Just that gentle thud on idle. Those bloody panniers every time. Alright. A displacement of 860 odd. You know, they go and call it. Oh, let's just round that up. It's a 900. Parallel twin 2011. So it's in that kind of, I believe the genre of bike is called modern classic. Genuinely, this thing has got fuel injection. And you can clearly see, you don't have to be an expert to realise, oh, that's a carburetor there, right, isn't it? That is not a carburetor. That is a fuel injector that is disguised to look like a carburetor. Isn't that quaint? You know, more efficient, better technology, having to sort of dress up in sheep's clothing. I find that quite quaint and very reminiscent of this company, you know, as a mark, as a, you know, as a brand, and who they're trying to sell to, and who obviously they do sell successfully to, even though Triumph itself has been owned by 7 or 8 other different companies of late, but that's the world, isn't it? That's not Triumph's fault. Just my first impressions, like, I've probably only done 10 or 15 kilometres on this thing. If there is one word, it's docile. It's like a big, you know, non-intimidating, friendly, slobbering golden retriever. You know, big dopey, yeah, buddy, big bloody dopey golden retriever with the floppy ears, you know. It's gorgeous. It's not intimidating. It's kind of fun to pet, you know. Doesn't smell too bad. Even though it has the displacement, you know, it's just shy of 900cc in 2 cylinders too. So they're big boys. They're, you know, but I think that's what adds to the docile, as I said. It's certainly not what I would be akin to, which is, you know, 4 cylinders, tiny little pistons, little parts, revving their bloody brains out and loving it. Where this thing, look at the tacho. Oh, red line at 8. Woo! The CBR 1000 doesn't work until 8. They do have for the keen eye, yes, an engine light on, which I was told about by the owner some time ago. I honestly do believe, and I've ridden this bike, like I said, 10-15 k's now, and I don't feel an issue. That's just a crazy wire sensor tripping out. That is not anything wrong with this engine. This is rock solid. I've turned a spanner on or two on this particular bike, I'll be honest, to friends. Helped him out a few times with a couple of upgrades and stuff, and cleanups. And I did find this was the first English motorcycle that I've ever worked on. I was going to say non-Japanese, but I've worked on a KTM, so that's what made me pause there. It was the first English bike, right? And as an Irishman, it wasn't easy. And there were some issues, and they could have... You can tell they're just designing it from the inside out, going, okay, we need this part, we'll put that there. All right, we need another part, oh, we'll put that in there. What? It's now in the way of the first... Oh, guys, you know, I want to get... You know, I'll take the exhaust pipe off. Oh no, the swing arm had to come off, you know. Just ridiculous. Honda Japanese engineering. They had to go, no, we design so you can take apart without having to take off 7 other subsidiary things as well. So that was a hassle. I remember that fondly, coming to that realization that it's 3 times the amount of work on an English bike than it is a Japanese bike. Anything is, I reckon. But as a simple base power unit, it's obviously pretty popular, isn't it? They've been making this sort of style for a long time now, old Triumph. And it's like anything, I suppose. You take care of it, it's bloody bulletproof, right? I know parts would be easy to come by. I mean, like I said, it's a modern classic, right? It's 2011. 2011. It's the newest bike I've ridden in years. The parts would be easy to get. There's still plenty of aftermarket trickery going on here. Or going on in the market, I should say. And of course, is Triumph as a brand, as a label, is it not just the very cornerstone of the cafe racer movement? You know, I would say yes to that. It's a question that I asked myself, and it was deep and profound, but I had the answer. Yes, Triumph, please, BSA and Triumph. Okay, I'll give you 2. That English pop culture, you know, cafe racer scene, these guys have it down. The Japanese just aspire to have the same kind of allure that an English bike has when it comes to, you know, wanting to put into a cafe racer form. That engine light's freaking me out too, guys. Just staring at it. Roadworks. I find the gearbox on this really oh, what? The gearbox, it likes, you know, quick jabs at it, you know. You've got to be firm with it on the gear change. You sort of take your time a little bit and you feel like a bit like a truck, you know. But once you do it with a bit of, you know, commitment, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Throw a bit of commitment in there and you're sweet. Really stable, strong chassis too. It's docile like everything else. I think that's the perfect adjective. In no disrespect do I mean that term. But it's, you know, we're not riding a sports bike here. This is a modern classic. It's got decent enough boots on it. It has Pirelli, what were they? I think they were like Scorpion Trails. They're Pirelli, right? I respect that brand. They're sticky. Really soft initially, like just this ride here. Whee, there's the undulations that I'm feeling. I describe the bike as soft. But then you know, you go over a speed bump or a judder bar, and that last bit of the stroke, it's actually quite stiff. So you can do a jump, is what I'm saying. No, I'm only joking. I'm not jumping the speed bumps. Yeah, but it adds to the comfort. I can see why dudes ride the globe on these types of bikes. They're comfortable as, like, I really feel like I just jumped on this thing and you sort of just click into position. Your legs are pinching these little tank pads. The tank pads are awesome. Like, I feel like a little Lego man just perched on the top of a bike here, you know. My input when it comes to riding and cornering is suggestive at best. That's all you're really kind of doing. I'm so used to shuffling across the seat and, you know, obviously, you know, pushing hard. Oh no, I'm not. I'm doing the speed limit. No, I'm used to really, you know, being mobile in the cockpit, the pit that's full of cogs. I'm quite mobile and I enjoy moving around. This bike, it doesn't want you to do that, and that was evident from the first corner that I took on this bike. You listen to the bike, it will talk to you. And the bike said, all you need to do is just point and shoot. I'm like, alright, you point and shoot. It's quite fun, yeah? It's, yeah, suggestive riding, suggestive cornering, let's call it that. Yeah, the cockpit, the feel of it is quite nice. It has been modulated, is that a word? Modulated? It's been changed. The seat has been changed. It was like, you know, those big bench seats that incorporated the pillion passenger's butt as well as the rider, where this has a wee little seat cowl over the top where the pillion position would be, and the seat is small. So, yeah, you can sort of, you're doing a big long distance ride, you kind of want to try and find different places to sit and move, don't you, just to try and relieve the buttock pain. But as buttock pain goes, and I ride a sports bike, I know buttock pain. This would be a good bike to do big Ks on, along big numbers, you know. And it's got a tank the size of a bloody SUV. I don't know how many litres go in that. I didn't do that much research. I really just got the key and threw my leg over it. That's got to be a bloody near 20 litre tank, I reckon. And God bless the coronavirus. Fuel, oh my god, not where you are in the world right now, but fuel in this part of the world, awesome. I'm stockpiling it. It's like Mad Max over here in Australia, let me tell ya. Yeah, big tank. I do, one bit of research I did do on this bike was the pinstripe, the gold pinstripe. It is hand painted and even has the initials of the dude who painted it. It's back here underneath the seat. When you take the seat off, a wee piece of the tank is exposed, and there it is, this dude. I can't remember his initials, but that I admire. That's classy. He's pinstriped it by hand. It looks like a sticker, I'm telling you people. It's done with a brush, and then he's gone and he's signed it. I think all great artists sign their work, don't they? Yes. What do I have? Trip meter. Oh, I got the time, but it's not working. Okay. It's only done 15,000 Ks, this bike, in 9 years. Let's call it 16. 16,000 Ks, that is quite impressive. Oh, I'm loving that. Thank you. Trail brake into this big beast. Oh. So I know also research, people. I did my research. I sat on the toilet and googled this bike. It's acclaimed, I love that, acclaimed weight. When it comes to weights, they actually have the adjective claimed in front of it. Claimed weight, 203 kilos dry. I'll just let that pause for dramatic effect. Dry. 203 dry. That's amazing. That's really, really, really heavy in my world. To my understanding, And in the real world, I'm sitting on it right now. Like I said, I feel like a Lego man perched upon it. But it's only really like really slow speed coming to a stop and starting again. Do you actually feel the weight? Which is nice. Testament to the balance of the chassis. You know, you don't feel that extra weight. You know, it's quite neutrally balanced too. I'd almost, you know, it feels really almost 50-50 front back, you know. And I'm used to, I can get a little bit more aggressive when it comes to those numbers. I like being perched on the front. But this is really neutral. You can feel that when you're right in the heart of the apex. And you haven't moved your bloody little Lego arse because of the Lego blocks up your Lego date. And you just, and you can just, it's so balanced. I wait for no man or woman, don't care what you are. Definitely a bike that you could really commute like a champion. All weathers, you know, bloody panniers. I love those things. They're bloody small bloody bedside tables too on the side of it. I clip my leg almost every time I throw it over. It's super solid and smooth. Weighty. Big girl. But she's lovable. I can't get over the fuel injectors though that are masked to look like carburetors. That's it. That's comical, isn't it? It really is comical. Like it's a superior product. And no. I want to upset the bloody loyalists. The cockpit is really quite comfortable. The mirrors give you great vision. It's one of the best bikes I've ever been on. That gives me an understanding of what's happening behind me, other than what my elbows are up to. Big chunky bloody grips here though. God, if it were my bike, first thing I'd change. Feels like I'm hanging on to a bloody horses. And the possibilities too with the bars, risers and shapes that you could, you know, spend 80 bucks on and completely change a motorcycle. Like it's amazing how much a bar, rise, sweep, change in any way will change your perception of the ride, you know. And then, you know, 22mm standard bloody bar, well, your oyster. Nice solid little engine that just purrs along. Yeah, like I said, that gearbox kind of needs to be, it's a dog that needs to be on a short leash, or it needs to be used with a firm hand. But if it's done with a firm hand, it's a dream. You get a little bit lazy though, and you just get this big time lag and surge and happening. You've just got to try and be as swift as you can on any movement through the gearbox. Just so assuring though, mid-corner. You know, if you've set up right, you know, and you're not going to get surprised by a hairpin that you're going into with fourth gear tabbed. But you know, if you know the roads, which I kind of know around this area, you set up right. Like I said, the input that I have to give this bike to ride is but mere suggestion. That's all it is. You know, not even engaging the mind, and you get through the corner. It's a testament to how well balanced the bike is. Like, you know, you're not having to, not that, you know, when I'm scurrying around the Honda's seat that it isn't a balanced bike. It is. It just has, it's just got that agility and the real estate for me to jump around the seat. Well, this doesn't. Like I said, as soon as you throw your leg over this and clip your foot on the bloody pannier on the way through, you just go, Lego man. You're just in it, you know. You're off the bike. So nice. It really feels assuring, you know. But there is that. I say this with but it is a heavy bike, and like I said, if you know the corners and you set up right, then yeah, it's a dream to ride. If you came across a bit of road that you didn't know, or you had a little rush of blood and you did one of those ones, when it gets ugly on this thing, it would be a really, really scary it. I wouldn't want to be around 203 kilos claimed dry. That means no liquids at all. You realise a bike this size with a tank that's this big, let's just straight away, let's do the math, people. Let's put 20 kilos on top of that for fuel alone. Then there's 4 litres of oil, and then there's the air that's in the tyres to pump them up as well. They're not flat tyres, they're full air. So it's 200 and at least 40 kilos of motorcycle, and this tank is full too, by the way. I did brim it. It's a heavy bike, and if it ever got, you know, real big and real ugly, oh man, man alive, a huge moment with a 1/4 of a ton of vehicle is nobody's business. I tell you, sir, nobody's business. Get out of my way. That was an attempted wheelie off that little bank, and it did not work. Tell you what, it's, like I said, big bike, yes. Brakes, good. Very good brakes. For a bike that is so heavy, the brakes, and it's only one single disc up the front too. Serious master cylinder though, isn't it? She large. Yeah, the brakes are impressive. The back brake is about the same size as the front brake, so when you get on them as a pair, you go pretty well to washing your pace off. I am finding myself, just because of the minimal movement that I have to do on the bike in a corner, I'm actually finding myself in an opportunity where I can trail my rear brake like through a right-hander that I'd never be able to do, because your foot's just so far back on the peg. Your foot's just in the middle of the peg. The rear brake is just under your toe. You know, and you feel, I'm going a little bit too hot into this right-hander, just depress the rear brake, speed comes in, the line tightens up. So motorway speeds aren't fun. You're just getting buffeted. There's just absolutely no protection up here from the breeze. You just, nobody saw back. It was only like 10 minutes of highway riding. I'm gonna have to rethink this is a bike you could do big kilometers on, even if you just got like a tiny little, what do they call, like a bikini fairing, something that just goes over the headlight and just breaks up the breeze, and yeah, gives you something. Like, I can feel it in my rib cage. Like even that super motard Honda CRF, that's I'm sitting upright in that, but I don't feel as much wind. Granted, that has a huge enduro reserve tank perched on the handlebar. Maybe that helps a bit. But the wind buffering on this was quite severe, I would say. But all in all, it's a tight bike. I mean, I'm really quite impressed. I can see why the guys who own them love them and are mad for them, you know. Yeah, there's a certain amount of prestige that goes with this English make, doesn't it? Regardless of what dire straits they may be in financially at the time, they're It's always got to be a Triumph, isn't it? You know, like, you want to hope anyway. But yeah, the Triumph Bonneville T100. It's 2011. 115,000 Ks. I rate it. Oh, get into that.